Hello and welcome to part 2 detailing the progress of my Swiss N-gauge layout Konigsbrucke. Hopefully you saw the first part and enjoyed it. If you didn't, I've put a link down in the description box just so you can click on there maybe afterwards just to take a look if you want, or before if you want to sort of get an idea of what's been happening at the beginning of the progress on the layout. But yes, thanks again for coming back and watching another part of this progress on my layout. I've got the good old refreshment today, cup of tea in the appropriate mug, which I picked up in Geneva about 12 years ago. Cheers to you all. Good old cup of tea, can't beat it. So yes, I'm going to detail a little bit more about what I've been doing this week. I filmed some bits and bobs during the course of the week. I'm just showing what I've been up to, and I'm just really sort of trying to detail little bits and bobs of progress as I made them throughout the week. So hopefully a little bit of a round of what I've been up to this week. So let's dive in, and I'll just give you a quick whiz around the layout, show what I've been up to, and then obviously we'll interlude with some trains as well. So when I'm laying track, I tend to glue and pin my track down. I take the pins out afterwards, but for me the best way that works is just gluing it down first. So basically I just run a sort of squiggly bead of glue all the way down, then I'll just use the nice little spatula here to just gently bring it all along the track like so, just so there's plenty on there, so I've got a good amount of time to just manoeuvre it around as well, whilst before, so the glue doesn't go off too quick. So it's just a case of getting it down, and then because this part is also on a little bit of a camber, I'll also be adding my little camber strips like this. You can see those there, which will basically just go under one side of the track, so it'll just nicely under there on one side, and I'll pin just to this side here, so you get a nice bit of camber on the track on the curves. Anyway, that's how I get my track done. So hopefully, I suppose probably most people do it like that anyway, but that's how I do it, and it tends to work well. And then the pins are just in for show, and just to hold the track down whilst it glues, and then I'll remove the pins once the track is glued and dry. So here we have it, another section of track glued down. Also, I don't, as I mentioned before, I put some pins in as well, but it's only to hold the track in place whilst it glues. So I don't push them in right the way down, otherwise you end up with plastic sleepers that just dip like that, like so, when you take the pins out. And to try and avoid that, I just try and push them a little bit, because then you can kind of release the sleeper back up again. Otherwise when you ballast you get these little dip sleepers, which looks a bit rubbish really. So I just try and just put the pins in a bit, just to hold it in place whilst it glues down, and just to hold it relatively flat, or as flat as possible. So as you can see here, two more lines. So we've got the other line here, and then the other one here coming along. The signal box will be just there, which is great. That'll be quite a nice little feature, I think, of the layout on this particular section. Just sort of breaks up a little bit, and obviously looks very prototypical as well. So you join me back here on board one. Just a quick update on how I progressed since the last little snippet I just showed you. So we now have all 4 tracks completed on this particular board, with the service road as well. The head shunt's down, which is great, and also the post container depot siding is also laid as well, which is fantastic. I decided to use one of the Pico double slips, which I found in my box of bits whilst I was looking for something else. Didn't actually realise I had it. Not particularly sure how it's going to work. It does save some space and also release a turnout for me to use elsewhere, which is great. Save me buying another one. I've run a couple of wagons through it. I pushed them through. They tend to be a bit rickety across it. I don't know if anyone else had any problems with the double slip from Pico, or if there's any modifications you can make just to get stuff running smooth through it. But I think once it's wired up, I'll see how I get on. It may be that I don't know. I've built hand-built track before, so potentially I could maybe build something to go in there. I don't know. I'd rather not, because it's easy just to lay it and get on and enjoy the trains. But if it's going to start causing problems and trains running through looking a bit rubbish, bouncing around, then obviously I'll have to do something about it. But at the moment we'll keep it as it is. So coming through to board 2, as you can see, now got all 4 tracks down, all 4 main lines down, and the start of the service road along the back here, which will run ultimately to the depot, which won't be where it is now. It will be further along on a 3rd board eventually as well. So but great to have all 4 tracks down. I've also mocked up the signal box as well, which is the one just outside Pratton Station. So I'll eventually make up a proper one for that location. But it actually looks really good there. And once all the overhead wires are up, it'll look pretty cool, I think. And certainly look part of the scene, and definitely add some interest to this side of the board. One thing I mentioned in part 1 of my Swiss N-Gauge layout progress updates is the fantastic offering from LS Models, the Nightjet stock, which I absolutely love. I bought the 2 boxes, which give me a almost full rake. But just a very quick overview on how well detailed this stock is. I will do a review at some point, but just wanted to do a very quick brief overview just so you can see how good this stock is. And the detailing for N-Gauge is absolutely phenomenal, really. I mean, in these sleeper cars, you can actually see all the ladders going up to the bunk beds, and also some of the blinds down as well. It's just really well done. In fact, you can see the whole rake is just, I just think it's sensational for N-Gauge, and probably for me one of the best models out there. In both Continental and British outline. I just wanted to quickly sort of run down the full rake for you that I've got. It's probably not in the correct order, and there probably needs to be a couple of extra coaches added in, which I will do at some point. I'm going to just probably watch a few YouTube videos actually and see if I can get a really good idea of what should be in the rake and what shouldn't be. But I think this gives a pretty decent overview of how rake should be. I think I've got 2, 4, so it's 8 coaches. There is another sleeper car. Unfortunately, there's a problem with one of the axles. The back-to-backs are out. I've tried to adjust it, and unfortunately it's just not letting me. It's absolutely stuck. So I'm going to have to try and get a spare from LS Models and refit that, so then I'll have 2 of the double-decker sleeping cars. Anyway, but as I said, I'll do a proper review on this rake of coaches at some point in the future. Right, so I hope you enjoyed the progress and update on the layout. I feel like I've done quite a bit this week to move things forward in terms of the track work and starting to get a real sort of feel now on the layout, how it's going to pan out. So really pleased so far with how it's going. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. We'd love to have you on board and keep you posted with further updates on the layout. Please do like the video and please also comment as well. We'd love to hear from you guys. Any tips, suggestions on the layout would be great. If you haven't seen part 1, I will put a link in the description below. I've also put in the description, and also in part 1, I didn't add it in until middle of the week actually, are some of my favourite continental model railway shops. I think all 3 of them in Switzerland. I think one in Germany, 2 in Switzerland. So please do take a look at those shops. They're all really good. I buy stuff from there and very happy with the service, and pricing wise pretty good as well. So can highly recommend all of those. I've also put a link to the Swiss Railway Society as well, so please do take a look at their website. If you're really interested in Swiss Railways, it's well worth subscribing. It's not a huge amount per year to be part of the Swiss Railway Society, and well worth it. You do get I think it's 4 magazines a year, and the magazine's really good quality as well, so definitely worth subscribing to them. So that's all for now. I will obviously make some progress this week, hopefully, and provide you with another update, hopefully this time next week. Until then, take care, happy modelling, stay at home, stay safe, and keep calm, and build model railways is the I think the name at the moment to go for. So until the next time, cheers for now.